Yeah, we're with Guerra, District Attorney of Willacy County, Texas. Juan, you did a misdemeanor indictment of Vice President Dick Cheney in November. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Your grand jury of Willacy County brought down this indictment against former Attorney General Gonzalez and Vice President Dick Cheney, 3 local judges, and some state senators. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
But they've all been dismissed. Does that seem strange to you with no trial?
Yeah, it was dismissed on a technicality that I think that was a technicality in itself. And what also bothers me is that no attorneys were present, so that somebody had to be there asking that I be disqualified. And nobody on the part of Gonzalez and Cheney were there, so that the judge on his own decided act as the attorney and started basically looking at technicalities. And usually you wait for an attorney to bring that out. That's what also was unusual about this.
So then after it's all dismissed, you go get called back to court last week, and the judge, J.Manuel, he demanded that you turn over all your work product, your indictment, your evidence of that the grand jury had pulled together. Is that correct?
Yes, he went further, and after it got dismissed, and before we met with the grand jury, he a motion to disqualify me, again with no attorneys from Cheney and Gonzalez, which is again very, very strange. So the judge said this motion to disqualify me, but under the Texas statute and the Texas case laws, there was no basis for him to disqualify me. He just did it, as far as I'm concerned, to protect Gonzalez and Cheney. And then he ordered the Texas Rangers to pick up all the evidence and order me not to go before the grand jury again, and order me that if I was to talk about the grand jury about other cases, that I needed to have a lapdog, one of his lapdog attorneys that he appointed to make sure that I don't discuss this with a grand jury. Totally circumventing not only the Texas Constitution, because that's what gives me the power as district attorney, but also circumventing the will of the grand jury.
It appears as if Judge Benales is practicing law for the bench in behalf of Gonzalez, who came out of Texas, and Cheney, does it not?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Remember, Manuel Banales, the judge, was appointed by Rick Perry for the position that he has right now, the Fifth Circuit judge. So he's appointed, so he's going to, he's in a very troublesome position, because obviously he would have a conflict, and then these decisions that he made are totally contrary to the statute and the laws, the case laws of the state of Texas. So it's very clear to anybody that sees this action that he's doing everything he can to make sure that he protects Dick Cheney and Alberto Gonzalez, and instead of trying to look at the merits of the case.
Now, how about your Willacy County Sheriff? Is he corrupt?
Judge Manuel Banales, which is again totally against the rules. I mean, there was no reason for the order of the Texas Rangers to seize all the evidence unless he's protecting them, because what reason would he have? If he figured that this thing was baseless, and then let the procedure move forward and let the correct the technicality and let the grand jury re-indict. So he had no basis to do what he did.
So why didn't the Willacy County Sheriff come to your defense? I would think your own sheriff would have come to help you.
No, the sheriff is under the the same umbrella of all these individuals. They act under the Texas Rangers. So there's no way that the sheriff was going to come to my defense. I mean, obviously you have the judicial now protecting the other branches, and so that's where you have this problem. And then he, knowingly, in my office, that I would no longer be in office by the end of the year. Make sure that this investigation didn't go forward. Now, she got reversed, just recently she got reversed, saying that she didn't have that authority. But in my opinion, they knew that they don't have that authority, so that they were just trying to prolong this thing so that this issue, this would not come to light. And this is the third time that they do this. The second grand jury that was investigating this was disrupted by the sheriff's officers and the police department, the police officers. And I have the video where they went into the grand jury and literally threatened them that they needed to disassemble because it was an illegal meeting. There was a second grand jury that we tried. And now this third grand jury, that's why we did it under a very, very secret where nobody knew so that they would not disrupt the grand jury proceedings. And so exactly what I thought would happen happened. As soon as this became public, after they finished their investigation, or not finished, but at least went ahead and felt comfortable that they could go ahead and issue those indictments, we knew what was going to happen. The judicial process was going to act quickly to go ahead and protect these individuals. And that's, in my profession as a prosecutor for 14 years, finds it odd that the judicial, the judges, or acting to protect criminals. That's very, very unusual. He's supposed to be like the middle and not have a decision already made.
Good point. Very good point. Well said. Now, they put an indictment against you, but who is they? Was it the state put an indictment against you for 18 months until you lost the November election, or was it a federal indictment?
Migdalia Lopez appointed Marvin Mausbacher, who used to be the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, when the investigation started. This was under Cheney's and Gonzalez administration. Cheney's, Gonzalez wasn't there yet, but it was under 01, and appointed Marvin Mausbacher, an ex-U.S. attorney, to come and give false information to the grand jury and indicted me and kept the indictment for 18 months. It was finally an attorney out of corporate was appointed to look at all the evidence, and he found that the indictment was done was malicious because there was absolutely no evidence to have me indicted to begin with.
But was that a federal indictment or a state indictment?
That was a state indictment. They kept it after my elections. So again, these are all acting in concert to make sure that the criminal act that is happening or that occurred with by Dick Cheney and Alberto Gonzalez and Senator Eddie Lucio would not see the daylight.
I got the picture. Okay, I understand what they did. So once you lost the November election last month, they dropped all the charges that they wouldn't prosecute you with for 18 months. Is that correct?
Exactly. And the warrant is just not that it was dismissed. I mean, it literally states that there was no evidence to substantiate indictment. And there was an independent attorney that was appointed from Corpus Christi. And it is very clear that he looked at all the evidence and says there is nothing here to for these indictments to have been to go forward. Something that was not done on the Cheney and Gonzalez. I wish somebody would come and look at it and decide whether or not it should go over, because the grand jury has already made that decision that this evidence needs to go before a regular jury so that the public can see what kind of evidence we have against and Alberto Gonzalez. What is it that the grand jury saw that felt that they needed to indict Alberto Gonzalez and Dick Cheney and Lucio?
Yes, what is it? Well, we'd like to investigate that, Mr. Guerra, and I thank you for this interview and your time in clearing up the fact and laying this out for the people. And on behalf of the people in this country that do care, I thank you for what you've sacrificed to bring these third indictment of Dick Cheney, Lopez, judges, and the state senator. Do you have any plans after you're out of office?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I will be just a regular citizen. Obviously, my thing is that as a district attorney, I needed to make sure that no criminal, that there's a crime being committed, that I'm going to look the other way. And so I've made at least a public statement that we do have solid evidence against Dick Cheney, Alberto Gonzalez, and Senator Eddie Lucio.